Today, top congressional leaders from both parties, including the leaders of the intelligence committees, had a classified briefing with CIA Director Gina Haspel about reports that Russia offered bounties to the Taliban to kill American troops in Afghanistan. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer released a joint statement after the briefing saying these reports are coming to light in the context of the president being soft on Vladimir Putin when it comes to NATO, the G7, Crimea, Ukraine, and the ongoing undermining of the integrity of our elections. Our armed forces would be better served if President Trump spent more time reading his daily briefing and less time planning military parades and defending relics of the Confederacy. Joining our discussion now is Representative Abigail Spanberger. She is a Democratic congresswoman from Virginia. She sits on the Foreign Affairs Committee. She is a former CIA officer and was one of the lawmakers who attended Tuesday's White House meeting on this same issue. Congresswoman Spanberger, thank you very much for joining us tonight. What can you tell us about this, and what is your assessment of the story as it stands tonight?
Well, so my assessment of this story is that we haven't seen a full-throated denunciation of a scheme to put bounties on the heads of U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. And so as more details come out and as the situation is evolving, I'm glad that there was a briefing today with congressional leadership. I'm glad and pleased that that briefing was actually conducted by intelligence professionals, and in particular, the director of CIA, Director Haspel. But we have to be talking about what comes next. And the White House has yet to fully denounce this. The president has yet to fully denounce this. And what we don't know is whether our troops overseas are any safer today or than they were before, and whether or not they continue to face the threat of having bounties on their heads in Afghanistan.
The administration is trying to deny that there's any truth to this, that there's any threat to American service members in this situation. But did you hear anything from the administration about what protections and what precautions they have taken on the possibility that it is true?
I heard nothing from the administration about the precautions that they are taking to keep our troops safe in Afghanistan. And I heard nothing from the administration that even gets at the idea of, if this is true, then we denounce it. If this is true, then it's unacceptable. And there's no reason that the president can't make a stern statement at this point in time, making clear to the Russians where he stands on these allegations, and that he will take swift action to protect our service members abroad and to retaliate against Russia for this type of aggression. And so we haven't seen that yet. And that is what I find to be so deeply concerning.
If you were in the White House or in the administration, what level of proof would you need to urge the president to take action?
When it comes to force protection and threats against our U.S. service members, it's incredibly important that we take action to protect them, no matter how detailed or specific the threat may be. If there is a threat out there, we should be doing everything possible to protect our service members. Now, then the second piece, at what point do we take retaliatory action? We've got the Taliban on television saying that, in fact, it's true. We've got multiple sources across news outlets giving very detailed information, detailing a plot and a scheme. There is no reason that we shouldn't be preparing retaliatory steps and actions to take to demonstrate to the Russians that the United States will not stand for bounties to be put on the heads of our men and women in uniform in Afghanistan. Unequivocally, we can make that statement. And then as we continue to get more information, and as a former intelligence officer, I can tell you that's the nature of intelligence. You never know anything 100%. You build and layer upon layer information from various sources to ensure a high degree of credibility. But when it comes to protecting our U.S. service members abroad, we should be taking every aggressive action possible to make sure that they are safe.
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, your CIA experience is invaluable to us in covering this story. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
And thank you for your coverage as well. I appreciate it very much. Please stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.